understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, June 9th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have one single solitary new episode this week, but we're going to close this episode with something kind of different.
Yes, we get a retro pick. Get to recap an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
My first ever episode of Batman the Animated Series. Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting. Now, full disclosure, we already recorded this episode, but there was a glitch in the audio for the first, like 2/3 of it. So there's going to be a point where we just say goodbye and hand it off to our past selves from, about 12 hours ago.
And so you're actually going to be like going through the day real time with us, because the back half of the episode we recorded in the evening, and now we're doing this in the morning. So you're going to start in the morning with us. This is our morning voices. And in the end, you're going to hear like beaten down by the work day, weary of the world. This is fresh and bright, Ed and Sarah, believe it or not. My voice is like an octave lower. This is fresh and bright. Let's get at it. I'm so sorry.
Okay. But yeah. There's a lot going on. So much going on. Lots of news to get to. But there's one email I did want to address up front. Because we don't have news on this show, but on the show that this refers to. But it's from an old friend of ours, Steph from Gotham Lights. She says, longtime listener, first time emailer. And she mentioned, Sarah, that in our last episode, you mentioned Stephen Amell would love to have a crossover with Supernatural. And it's something that she's been wondering for a while, given how all the crossovers work on the CW shows, especially between DC. And she mentions that in the recent season of Supernatural that just ended, they introduced the idea of other worlds which they could create doorways to. So evidently this is more plausible than we thought, or at least than I thought. Would you agree with that?
I would, and Steph, I love you. Thank you for being with me in this desire to see Dean Winchester and Oliver Queen like stare off. I just feel like they're of a same like height, and like that'd be good. It would be no chance with Sam and Oliver, because Sam is giant armatron. But so Supernatural, you've got the ability now to cut a hole in the world basically and go between worlds. So there is no reason, if the CW wanted to do a big network wide as opposed to just Arrowverse wide crossover, that you couldn't have in-show explanations. The CW verse and Supernatural, the Arrowverse and Supernatural can very easily justify any level of wackiness that they see fit. The Supernatural guys met the Scooby Gang this past season. So meeting Oliver or The Flash or whomever, totally really plausible, and would be a lot of fun and would be a great CW. I mean, like, cross over your CW shows. Why not? If Arrow's ratings haven't been so great, CW loves Supernatural, maybe toss them over there and see how it goes.
Yeah. She basically wants, who's to say there couldn't be a door open to introduce Sam and Dean and maybe Castile to Central City, and from there Star City.
Okay, two things. First of all, Ed, how dare you? It's Castiel. Second of all, Steph, how dare you? Maybe Castiel? Of course Castiel.
Yeah. And she even sets up the scenario, could you imagine Barry finding a way to open a door to the supernatural world, which sets off an anachronism alarm for the Legends, and they team up with Constantine to defeat some kind of demon that's escaped into the world of the Flash and Legends, etc.
I love it.
I'm all for double the trench coat. Sign me up.
So here's the funny thing. When Eric Kripke, the creator of Supernatural, imagined Castiel, he took a lot of inspiration from Hellblazer. And so Castiel's trench coat look is very strongly influenced by the Constantine Hellblazer look. So then you get Constantine, who comes to TV later than Supernatural, and people who aren't in the know are just like, why is Constantine dressed like Castiel? No. Why is Castiel dressed like the comic book character? So I would love to see those two dudes meet each other and just have kind of a growl off, and Constantine would hit on Castiel, and Castiel would be awkward and uncomfortable, and it would be amazing. Oh, we need to make this happen.
All right. So you have your assignment. Let's work. Yeah, and there's definitely precedent for it. Lots of shows that seem completely disconnected, or you've had the network wide crossover once or twice.
I'm highly familiar with the NBC, like Friends, Caroline in the City, Mad About You, ER days. That's the one that I'm the most aware of.
Yeah, I remember Las Vegas meets Crossing Jordan. And of course, The Pretender meets The Profiler. I mean, that was just born to happen.
That's so confusing.
Well, they both aired on Sunday nights. That was NBC's Sunday night block. Was The Pretender and The Profiler.
How did what? This is not the time to talk about the difference between those two shows. I didn't watch either, and I don't think I could, gun to my head, tell you. One of them was a blonde woman? Question mark?
Yeah, I was not a I was not a Profiler fan, but I lived and died by The Pretender.
And which one was that one?
That was I think it was Michael T. Weiss. It was a guy who was raised in a government facility who escapes, and he has the ability to pretend he's anybody. Ooh. So he can move in and out of any profession anytime, and he's on the run from this organization that's trying to catch him back because he's a super genius.
So is it the TV series version of Catch Me If You Can? Except not a con artist. Well,
if Leo DiCaprio had been raised in a think tank.
Are you telling me Leo DiCaprio wasn't raised in a think tank? Prove it.
Well, he was created in a think tank. He was raised by wolves. Okay. All right. You ready to get into the
Absolutely.
episode? All right, let's do this. So, Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 21, Not Kansas. Kara, Lena, and Mon-El were able to use the Utica rock to defeat Rain and free Sam from her control. Kara went back to Argo with Mon-El and got the feeling that someone in the city did not want her there. While saving a cop as Guardian, James uncovered that a gun manufacturer was selling weapons it made for the DEO to civilians. John went into denial after being asked by Myrn to exchange memories before it was too late. Last minute reveal: Selena stole Mon-El's ship, went to Earth with the other Daughters of the Night, met Thomas Coville, and erected a new world killer fortress.
Oh, Supergirl. Oh, Supergirl. There was a part of this episode I liked very much, and then the rest of it, I mean, I don't know. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, so this would be a 2-minute segment. We're not going to do that necessarily, but this episode was a slog for me.
It seemed so disjointed. Basically, we resolved the big bad of the season within 5 minutes.
And with very little effort. I mean, obviously, Lena was like sciencing the shit out of things. So she was working really hard and there was a fight, but I mean, it's just done. It's just done. Okay.
Yep, that's it. You know, and it's funny. I noted that on the DC TV Report Twitter, and at Bauer Fett came back at us with, well, you know, let's cut down a 1 hour episode to 7 minutes, then have a whole nother episode.
But I wanted the other episode. That would have been better.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, Kara and Lena and Mon-El defeating Rain should have been an episode on its own. And then, like, Kara going back to Argo should have been its own episode. Like, that should have been the main story.
The Argo thing. And well, we'll get to that. Finish your thought.
yeah. Well, you know, I think it's the kind of thing where, like, I don't think it was given its proper due. You know, I think you could have given that time to flesh out more. And the whole gun control angle, just I could do without completely.
So I applaud a show that is not ignoring the social realities, you know, the debates that are happening. I think we want escapist fun, but we also live in the world. And so sometimes ignoring it. And it is a show that has violence. It has guns, you know, so I get what they were doing here. Unlike the James Olsen episode a couple of weeks ago, where I thought James talking about his experiences as a black man in America dealing with law enforcement, that was offering a perspective that not everybody is aware of or not everybody sees on a daily basis. And so that was a fresh perspective that people hadn't maybe considered in some corners of the audience. This week, they tried to be balanced-ish with it, sort of, kind of, in such a way that everything was vanilla and everything was shallow and nothing was new or unusual. It's not going to change anybody's mind. It's just going to anger people on both sides because it's so facile and you have straw men on both sides. I mean, it just was... If you're going to do it, it has to be done carefully and well. And this was neither of those things. And it was kind of shoehorned in. And I don't want to talk about bump stocks in my entertainment. Oh my God, no. So, and I think the message takeaway was we should listen to one another and we should eat pizza. I mean, I took that message away. But also, you know, if somebody has an unusual solution, consider it. Although I don't know that John's suggestion to completely disarm the DEO, I see what they're saying. We're contributing to a culture of violence and we need to be the change we want to see in the world. But boy, I don't know if that makes sense for the DEO. It was a bad storyline in this episode. Woof.
Yeah. And Arrowverse is already they've already taken on gun control. They did it in Arrow last season, which...
You know, as bad as that episode was, it was still so much better than Supergirl. And it was bad. The Arrow episode was bad.
Yeah. It wasn't great. But this scenario that they came up with to shoehorn it in felt so contrived. Mm-hmm. I just, you know, first off, the idea that making weapons that proprietary would be left to a commercial would be left to a commercial company. You know, if the knowledge of that is that secret, you know, and the fact that you wouldn't have ironclad in your contract that you can't sell this to civilians, doesn't make, like, just the whole setup there made no sense to me. Like, I feel like if those guns are that special, you would make them in-house. And what he has Wynn doing at the end, you probably would have already been doing that for like 10 years. But, and then, you know, the whole idea with, you know, you can see them, like, Lena admitting that she has a conceal and carry license, and, like, it feels like, oh, we need to give this a balance so it looks like we're showing both sides, but not really.
Yeah, I thought the show really tipped its hand. I don't want you and I personally to wade into this debate, but yeah. I really felt like the gun manufacturer was not a good spokesman for the other side. We don't need both. Oh God, what a misfire of an episode. No. Jeez.
Because it didn't feel like we were watching the characters on Supergirl. Yeah. It just felt like we were watching people channeling talking points. Mm-hmm.
And the most facile, shallow, obvious talking points.
Yeah. Now.
Oh, and it also gave us James Olsen in the Guardian suit playing basketball alone, which I have enough lingering affection for him after his great outing a couple weeks ago that I'm not going to make fun of it. But James Olsen in his Guardian suit playing basketball alone.
Oh, so yeah. So yeah, Argo.
Okay, so and here's I don't want to wallow in negativity, but this show is making it real hard. This whole Argo storyline, I do not understand how this wasn't the emotional highlight of the entire 3-season run of this show, because Kara's mom is alive. Her people are alive. They took one episode of John finding his father on Mars, and I wept like 5 times in that episode and at least 3 times since then over that storyline. But Kara, who's our protagonist, who's a character I love, meets her mom, and I'm like, what do we have for dinner tonight? You know, like, there's nothing. How have they messed this up so badly, Ed?
I don't know. I find it interesting that her best friend on Krypton grew up to be like the female yuppie Barney Fife.
Female yuppie Barney Fife is perfect. You know, I feel you, girl, though. Those contractor problems, like you say, I want it this way, I want it facing this way, and I want it done in a week, and they don't get it done, and it's like you can't even pay for good help. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Also,
I'd like to talk to your manager.
An explosion happens in the middle of your marketplace. The only crime that you've had there in decades. And your response is, "Oh no, Kara, everyone loves you. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, there's no one mean here except for that random person who's walking around in the hood who's obviously noticeable."
That woman was the worst lurker in the history of lurkers. She lurked so obviously and so badly. She wanted to get caught. She was a serial killer, like, guys, I'm over here. Stop me before I bomb again. You know, the only slight defense I would make for Thara Akbar, who apparently is a character from the comics, because it's just been that city and they've been so isolated and insulated from the world for so long, I suppose you do get a level of comfort and familiarity. And it's like when the guy next door is discovered to have 80, corpses in his freezer. Oh my God, I had no idea. He was just my normal guy. I saw him every day. He was so quiet and kept to himself. You know, you don't think the worst of the people you interact with every day. So kind of maybe I could see her reluctance to think the worst of her townsfolk, but come on, crane accidents, Kara being targeted, the drone thing going off the rails, all of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you're in denial. You don't admit that's happening. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was all that bad.
I mean, it highlighted how Kara has felt like an alien on Earth, and now that she is with her people, she feels a little alien there as well. So it's really driving home the themes of the season. But I just feel like they're moving in plot directions in a way that has sacrificed what should have been just overwhelming joy and tears with the family reunion. So it just, I don't know. I just wish they had maybe spent a whole episode on Argo, maybe not have included Mon-El in any of it. I think he's a distraction. And speaking of Mon-El, are they having an emotional affair? And question, if your wife left you in 2018 to sort out your feelings for your superpowered ex, and you went back into the future, and he decides to stay, does that dissolve the bonds of your marriage? How does that work? Does it take a notary public to do that? Like, how?
Well, it is a marriage of convenience. It's
a retconned marriage of convenience.
Yeah. It's a different time. They have different customs. To me, like, this is if it had happened in India 600 years ago. I mean, that probably wouldn't be that way. Someone would probably get killed out of that. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I know it's Kara has been keeping Mon-El at a distance. So since they got back from this unplanned hiatus, I think the whole show has been kind of struggling. We never really got a good explanation for why they took that time off in the middle of the season. And when they came back, they were steaming right along with, Mon-El is gone and Kara's sad, but she's getting over it. And Maggie's recovering from her breakup, or Alex is recovering from her breakup with Maggie. Rain is scaring everybody. It was looking really good. And then they come back and they dissolve Rain of the world killer threat. And Mon-El comes back and is this Marty Sue. And I just the whole thing, it's like they had a sharp knock to the head over this interim and just lost the ability to write for their characters.
Yeah, and to me, it's just this episode. Just this episode, for some reason, I feel like they're jumping to Argo too soon. I feel like this should have been the reveal at the end of this season, and next season we should have opened with her in Argo, meeting her mom for the first time.
Okay, I mean, imagine the season finale final line is Kara saying, "Mom?" And we go to black and we have to wait all summer. That would have been awesome. Pull an Alias season 2. Would have been great. Yeah. I have been a little dissatisfied with how they've been handling plots, like I said, since the return from the hiatus, but this is the episode that just sort of pushed me over the ledge on Supergirl. What are you doing? What are you doing, baby? But, okay, should we mention one more good thing, and that being Miss Tessmacher?
Yes! Yes, she showed up, she did something, and who knew she's into physics?
Yeah. Most people who studied physics do end up working as an assistant at a media company. That's typically the postdoctoral career of physics students, to work in media companies. But no, Miss Tessmacher revealed to have hidden depth. Lena hires her to be some kind of, intern assistant, whatever. She assists Lena on some sort of big breakthrough on the Black Rock. That's very exciting. Mm-hmm. And it looked like Miss Tessmacher got some sweet, sweet pizza there with James and Lena. So, she had a good week.
Yeah, definitely.
And we, of course, got that shouted name a la Lex Luthor from the movies. So it was fun. It's fun.
Oh, that was great. That was great. Nice callback. Just enough of a callback.
Yeah, and I will say, I have enjoyed the callbacks to the movies and the things that came before in this back half. That's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that was cool. The one good part of this was the John Myrne storyline.
Oh, yeah. So, and I think that was just allowing us to emotionally, spiritually, and physically prepare ourselves for this next episode, where I'm concerned it is going to be Carl Lumley's last episode. I don't know that either way, but it sounds like John is going to have to say goodbye to his father. And that, I'm prepared to be devastated. I'm ready. My body is ready.
All right. Any news for Supergirl?
Yeah, we didn't have an episode title for the finale happening 2 episodes from now, although we had a description, which is that they're going to fight Selena for control of Earth. But the episode title is going to be Battles Lost and Won. Mm-hmm. For what that's worth. And for everybody who says, Rain was defeated so easily in 5 minutes, which, yeah, she was. This coming episode is Make It Rain, REIGN. So that was too easy. We're going to see Rain again. Other news not really related to the show, but leading lady Melissa Benoist makes her Broadway debut in the Carole King musical, Beautiful, which, good luck to you, Melissa.
Yeah. One of the advantages to living in New York City is that you get to see commercials for Broadway shows on TV. And one of the strange things is with Beautiful, they did not change the commercial at all. So you see the actress from the original run playing Carole King, except at the very, very end, there's a flash on the screen with Melissa Benoist's with her headshot saying, "Oh yeah, Supergirl, but Melissa Benoist from Supergirl and Glee is going to be playing Carole King." It's just
way to shell out the bucks there. Beautiful. We don't get those kind of commercials where I live. We get commercials for, hey, new to the area, cats. No, I'm kidding.
There's got to be a touring company of cats. It's
I saw a touring company of cats when I was a freshman in high school, and it was the highlight of my year. Oh my God, cats came through. It was the best. I was very young.
Yeah. I don't go to Broadway shows enough. It's so expensive.
Yeah, I don't drive to big cities near me to see the big productions often enough.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say, Ed and I did talk about this in the first take. One of us has seen Hamilton and one of us has not. And the one of us who has not is the one who lives in New York. So
yeah, because the New York one is sold out for the next 3 years. Like, I couldn't even get student rush tickets if I wanted to. Like, that's, you remember those days? You remember those days in college where it's like, I'm going to go see a show today. And you go on a Tuesday and you park yourself there at like 7:00 in the morning. You wait 3 hours for the box office to open. You show your student ID and then you get a $30 ticket in like the second to last row.
I went to school in a cornfield in Iowa. So no, I don't. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I saw a handful of shows like that. My favorite being The Best Man. Do you remember that? It was a play.
Yeah.
Yeah, great play written by Gore Vidal. That production I saw had John Larroquette, Eric McCormick, Michael McKean was in it, but he had gotten into a car accident. He wasn't actually there the day I saw it. But you had James Earl Jones, Angela Lansbury, Candice Bergen, just stars splattered.
That's like my who are the 5 people you would want to have dinner with, living or dead. I feel like that's my list.
Yeah, enormous cast. And the only one I was starstruck by was the guy playing the reporter in the very beginning of the show. The newsman was Sherman Howard. Who
knew?
Who most people know from Day of the Dead, but I remember playing Lex Luthor in the Superboy TV show from the late 80s, early 90s, who for my money is the best Lex Luthor ever put on screen. And I just, oh my God, it's Lex Luthor.
Please tell me Sherman Howard in Day of the Dead was Bub. I don't know any of the. Oh my
Yes, he was.
That's the only character I remember.
Yeah, he
awesome.
he was the zombie. He was the
smart zombie. Yeah. The zombie.
He's also the guy Kramer drops the Junior Mint into in Seinfeld.
That's quite a career.
Yeah. I mean, legendary. But yeah. So that's my favorite Broadway experience. Had to bring it back to DC somehow. Cool. So all right. Let's try to we kind of got sidetracked before, but let's we got to buckle down here. We have a lot of shows to cover. So let's get on
we'll
to
be
news
brisk.
for other
Moving
shows.
into the news. So we have a couple of general pieces of news. The first is a little thing that Ed, I don't think you're going to find all that interesting. The DC universe may launch in late August. DC's streaming service may have a launch date. I know you haven't been curious about that, but what happened was Danny Snow is the DC Entertainment Community Manager, a job I did not know existed until now, and now I desperately want, and was talking on the James Bonding podcast, and just really kind of casually apparently mentioned, oh yeah, it might come in late August.
Yes, yeah. I saw a headline about, may DC release date may have been leaked, and I just happened to be listening to the James Bonding podcast with Matt Gorley and Matt Myra. And Danny Snow, who they did not mention what she did, just, their friend Danny Snow came over to help them rank the women of the Bond movies. And yeah, that was fun. And then just casually, oh, you have anything to plug? It's like, oh yeah, I'm working on this working for DC Entertainment. We're launching this streaming service. I think it's coming out in late August. Like, what? Excuse me?
Wait, what? Can you imagine if you'd heard that before seeing the headline?
Oh my God.
How much you would have lost your freaking mind.
Yeah, it was, and it was interesting in there. She, I don't even think she realized what she was doing. I hope she's not in trouble after that.
But DC has not said, yep, that's the date. I figured they'd scramble and release a statement or something, but
yeah, no, I mean, to this point, it's been like 24 hours and there's been no response online, at least no official statements from DC confirming or denying. But yeah, that's cool. She also mentioned, that the thing she was most surprised about was the huge reaction they got to the Swamp Thing announcement. Evidently, that's like already the most popular show on the network. And it's still in development. They haven't even cast Swamp Thing yet. So, there's that. And she also mentioned that like it's not just going to be TV shows. They're going to have movies. They're putting the whole Batman animated catalog up. And you may be able to access comics through here, which is something Marvel has an unlimited app where you can get, I think, anything Marvel's released that's more than 6 months old, and all of their huge back catalog. But DC does not have an equivalent service. So if they're going to like throw that in with this, that's a huge bonus.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. And that's nice for somebody like me because, so often on this podcast, you'll mention to me, oh, yeah, you should check out X Run or, this series or this author's work. So that would make it presumably easy to do that.
Yeah. By the way, have you had a chance to crack open 52 yet?
No. Here's my thing. Astute listeners know we moved not long ago. All of our books are still in boxes. We're finishing up some work, getting the library ready to be packed, if that makes it the shelves packed. So I haven't unboxed anything yet. When I do, that is my plan, but it's probably going to be over the summer sometime, so I'll get there. If the DC Universe was available, I would have access to it online, but it's not. So yeah, I actually don't have access to any of my books, and I'm getting a little twitchy.
Hopefully that'll be resolved soon. Okay,
I hope so.
What other news we got?
So one other big piece of news generally is that Greg Berlanti, super producer, has signed a $300 million deal with WB-TV. It's WB-TV's biggest ever deal since Chuck Lorre. So $300 million is going to keep Berlanti working for WB-TV.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, he has I think 17 shows.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's quite impressive. I mean, I almost feel like they should take all the other shows away from him and just why can't it's working so well right now. You'd think we should just have him run all of the DC EU movies too. But sadly, no. They keep those divisions separate for some odd reason. Never the twain shall meet. Oh, damn it.
Boy, letting Berlanti take a crack at the DC movies, that would change so much in what I think is a really positive way. And I don't necessarily mean using the TV actors, although in some cases, I'm still not over introducing a new Flash when they have a great Flash on TV already. I get it. Different properties, different goals, different all of it. Ezra Miller was fine. But Greg Berlanti's slightly, I don't want to say bouncier, because it's not, Flash is bouncier than Arrow, but all of it is like a Disney cartoon compared to the actual movies. I would just love to see a little bit more of that lightness that Berlanti brings to things. Yeah. Even in an Arrow setting.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, his credo is heart, humor, and spectacle. And so far the movies are missing two of those things. So,
I'm sorry, you don't like CGI monsters just pummeling cities? Ed, come on.
Well, not just that. You got to pair it with something else.
Martha. We have Martha. What more do you want?
Maybe better CGI. Maybe don't use the CGI that's so half-assed that you need to turn down the brightness to make it so dark you think we won't notice. Just saying.
DC.
But let's stop because I'm just gonna go off and go off.
All right. Shall we transition into individual shows?
Go for it.
All right, Preacher has released its official season 3 trailer, as well as a shorter scene of Jesse interacting with Grandma. So you kind of get a taste of what Angelville is going to be like, what the season's going to be like. Looks like the same amount of violence, action, and gleeful mayhem that people have responded to in Preacher. You get a good sense that Jesse's going to spend a lot of time in Angelville, and there's going to be hijinks there. But you also see the world, I think, opening up a little bit because you've got a little bit more of the Grail, and that's not going to be happening, I don't think, in the swamps there. So, that looks promising, except that they screwed up Tulip's story from the comics. I'll save that for when the episodes are airing.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I want this show to get back. I miss it. I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, you see trailers, it's like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that show. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. And by the way, I was talking with our executive producer Bill Sweeney last night, and he filled me in on some of the plans they're having for this season of Preacher vs. Preacher, which is another show on the Wicked Theory Network. I guess you call it a network studios, which specifically focuses on how the TV show compares to the book, and I'm really excited to see. To hear what they have in store.
Is it nonstop screaming? Is their plan just nonstop screaming?
No. They're changing up their format a little bit, and some of the gags and the running gags that they're going to have sound like they're going to be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's another reason to look forward to Preacher coming back, because Preacher vs. Preacher comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so that's 3 weeks. Does that sound right for the Preacher premiere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We got 2 Supergirls, then a Preacher.
All right. Take 2 Supergirls and a Preacher and call me in the... All right. Legends of Tomorrow. Big news there is Keenan Lonsdale, a.k.a. Wally West, is leaving the show. He's not going to be a permanent cast member anymore.
No.
He says he says it's not see you never. It sounds like he's open to coming back. He just doesn't want the commitment of being a full-time regular on a network show. Just when Legends made him palatable.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing that character blossom, and now it's not going to happen. It's a shame.
I don't know. I feel like the Wave Rider is getting really full, and if we have to sacrifice a character, he's probably the one I would choose, honestly.
And Nate.
Oh,
Nate
God, I forgot about it. See, that's how, yeah, of course I would sacrifice Nate. Go away, Nate. I'd forgotten they defeated Bevo, the series ended, or the season ended, and I forgot about Nate entirely, except that I saw him on something. I was watching some basic cable something, and there was Nate, and I was just like, oh, what is happening? I didn't know he came from anywhere. What? Nate. Anyway, so, that's too bad. I think having a speedster would have been cool on that show. They were just kind of tapping into his character's potential, and that's a shame.
Yeah. I thought he and Zari had something nice going on,
Yeah, they had a good, and I like that it wasn't a romantic thing. It was just a kind of mentor, learning, buddy, Yeah. A shame. Let's see. The other bit of news is that the executive producer, Phil Klemmer, says the show next season may explore the home of the Time Bureau.
Okay.
Which, if you think about it, makes sense because Ava Sharp is going to be a regular, Jess McClellan, and so it would make sense that we would see, since she's in charge of the Time Bureau now, we'd see a little more of her. Yeah.
You think that's as tidy an office as it looks?
I think it's a planet of anal retentive bureaucrats, like from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that planet. Which, even though we talked about it last night, I still didn't Google it. And for the record, I saw Nick Zano, who plays Nate in Final Destination. That's where his face popped up. And I was just like, oh, he's going to get murdered in some interesting way. I should stick around for this. All right, moving on to Black Lightning. The Cress Williams and Christine Adams, who play Jefferson and Lynn, the divorced parents on the show, were back together or getting there by the end of the season. In a recent interview, they said they are still going to be together in season 2, but it's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to continue to be tensions and problems, and it's not just going to magically solve all the issues that were in that relationship, which is nice. And I'm not surprised that Black Lightning wouldn't just have a magical reconciliation and everybody's happy, that it would be as straightforward and honest with that as it is with, most of the other stuff it does.
I wouldn't expect anything less from that show.
And I like that. I've always loved the we love each other, but there's some insurmountable things here between the two of them. So yeah, that will be cool. And then just a little fun, a couple of crossover type things. That seems to be the go-to question in interviews and at conventions and on panels. Hey, what do you want to cross over with? But Nissa Williams, who plays Thunder, would love to cross over with Supergirl because she likes a badass woman. Same girl. And Danielle Nicolette, who plays Cecile on The Flash, says she would love to cross over with Black Lightning because she has a girl crush on Jill Scott. Nobody tell Danielle Nicolette what happened to Jill Scott on Black Lightning. It would crush her. Lady Eve, we miss you. We miss your jewelry. You were fabulous.
Yeah. And and what they did to her,
it was so gross.
Yeah. You can't really reverse that.
Yeah. And I'm still not over how the camera lingered. The camera doesn't usually linger on like body horror in the CW, but dang. They really did. Yeah. All right. iZombie. Very cool iZombie news this week. So Rob Thomas gave an interview and said that they had to cut a scene for time in the season 4 premiere, the season that just ended. They had a scene of Liv making a gourmet brain meal for her newly zombified mom and brother, who up until that point had only ever had brain tubes. But they had to cut it for time. That fascinated me because that family storyline to me is the big dangling unresolved hole in the show, because after Liv refused to give her blood for a transfusion for her brother, we just never heard about them again, ever.
Yeah, they were a significant part of like the first season and a half, and then they just like disappeared.
And I don't know that they were the best fit for the story. I mean, I don't think I haven't really missed their presence, but I think it's weird that Liv has never once said like, it's hard being estranged from my family. You know, it's just a major thing missing in her life.
Yeah, and I think that because remember season 2 they got I think they had like 19 episodes. And I feel like if they'd been doing full-length seasons instead of half-length seasons, we would have had time to get to them.
Sure.
It was just kind of a casualty of that.
And Rob Thomas did say season 5 would be the perfect time to bring them back and to give some resolution there, continuing my trend of being relieved when shows I love are able to wrap up their runs the way they want to wrap them up. And he said if that happens, they might not be zombies, that, you know, things might have changed in the writer's room by then since they didn't actually introduce it. So if they come back, who knows what we're going to get. But I just thought that was so interesting. What a cool thing that would have been to see that in the premiere. The other thing Rob Thomas had to say this week is his last dream guest star is Tina Majorino, who played Mac in Veronica Mars. And I am all about that. She was fabulous on Veronica Mars, and she's one of the few Veronica Mars people who haven't made an appearance in some form on the show yet. So hopefully he can make that happen.
Yeah.
And of course, in personal iZombie news, I sat next to a guy who looked like Major with a beard at Starbucks the other day, and it was the highlight of my day. So thank you, bearded Major lookalike, for getting coffee at the same time I did. You're pretty. Y'all know how I feel about Major. It was a highlight. Okay, Gotham. All right. So apparently in season 5, its final season, the show is going to lean into the Batcat. So the focus is going to be on Bruce and Selina's relationship, which... cool. I'm excited for that. And that matches what's going on in the comics right now, right?
Yes. Yes. In the comics, Bruce and Selina are preparing to get married. Their wedding's on the horizon. I think they just announced that Clark Kent is going to be his best man. So, which is kind of controversial considering he has half a dozen proteges to choose from.
None of the Robins made the cut. Are they all ring bearers? Are they all just like, I'm a grown ass man, why am I holding these rings? I
mean, I'm sure they're groomsmen, you know.
I don't know. From a thunder stealing perspective, do you want Superman as your best man? Superman is always going to be better looking than you. Do you want to stand next to Superman?
I mean, he is the best man, you know, and
he is the best man. Aw.
You know, he would make sure everything went smoothly. You know, I think, you know, no one's going to try to pull anything if Superman's your best man.
Downside,
however,
you can't have those kryptonite cufflinks you had your eye on, though, to go with your tux.
Yeah. And I'm worried the bachelor party might be a little lame.
I feel like they're gonna go bowling. Friends, to the bowling alley.
Take him on a fishing trip.
Okay, other Gotham. Cameron Bicondova, who plays Selena, said on Instagram that the show will return in January with 10 episodes, which, I thought the initial estimates or speculation were that it was going to be 12 or 13. And in fact, if they have 10 episodes in the final season, that will be 2 episodes short of 100, which used to be the magical mark where you could get syndicated, although I think less so now.
Yeah. Now see, because back in the day when you had 26 episodes in a season, 100 was like the mark. You go 4 seasons and boom, we're there. Since that's been cut down in like the last 30 years to 22 a season, 88 was usually the magic number for like the last, I would say, since like 2000. And syndication packages, I mean, that's really where the money is. But with streaming services, there's so many other options you could do. Cable shows, since they do half seasons, usually like 60 is a number where you can get that. I think 98 versus 100, it's so arbitrary. And this show would get picked up for syndication no matter what.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I think. But yeah, it is weird that they would initially say 13 and then knock it down to 10. I don't know what's up there.
So, but, and again, she could have been mistaken, or, we didn't have a confirmation from the show itself that, it's going to be 10 episodes and not 13. So, there's a lot that could, but it would be weird that she would say so specifically 10 and not actually know that was the case. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. We have a ton of news about Titans. And a lot of those have to do with set photos. Most of them leaked set photos, which I think these are a lot more encouraging than the last leaked set photos. But we've got a set photo leak of the bat signal. That looks solid. It is a bat on a big light. So, way to go. We also saw the actual set photos. It looks like a sort of nighttime street scene, kind of gritty urban look. But what I thought was interesting was it's not, Ed, you joked earlier about the monochrome gray appearance of the DC cinematic universe. It's not that gray color. It's dark, it's black, but it's got kind of bright pops of color, some neon and things. And I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah. And to me, that's especially if you're doing like Gotham City. I feel like that's what a stylized DC Comics based show should have. That reminds me of Batman the Animated Series, which we're going to be covering a little later in the show.
Huzzah.
I'm really interested to see what this looks like and what this is. I hope this comes out like soon as they launch it in late August, which we now have confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny Snow.
Yes.
It seems to me that I'm really curious what kind of money they're throwing at it. What kind of budget are they going to have? How elaborate is this going to be? I feel like it seems like they're tossing money at it. From what we've seen, the promotional pictures all look kind of lush. The on-set photos haven't looked great in some cases. This batch, I think, looks a lot better. But yeah, I'm curious. Titans has to be the first one they release, right? Surely they'll have this brand new splashy show as the kickoff to their streaming service. If they have a streaming service and nothing new and fresh to offer, I'm not a network executive, but that seems like a misstep to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a couple of shots of characters in costume. Dwayne Murphy, who plays Negative Man, Instagrammed a photo of his tall black boots that go along with his costume there. And they looked very bad to run in, but I'm not a superhero. What do I know? And we also have set photos of Jason Todd. Looks like they're filming at a suburban home next to a swimming pool, and he's wearing a hoodie. I don't know what any of that means, Ed.
Nothing. It means nothing.
Okay.
Everyone's making a big deal. Oh, this is Jason Todd, whatever. Unless I'm seeing him in a Robin costume, whatever. Okay, we know
it's
they
a teenager
cast Jason
in
Todd.
jeans.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
All right, and then for me, the biggest, most exciting piece of news about Titans is a leaked casting call strongly indicates that the show in the finale of the first season is going to introduce Superboy. Here is the description. A 20-something Caucasian male with dark hair who is powerful and merciless, so much so that he has recently unleashed chaos on the people who have been keeping him prisoner in a mysterious lab. When we find, quote, David, he will have recently escaped this lab. Ooh. That's straight up Superboy, right?
Yeah, that's Con-El, a.k.a. Connor Kent, a.k.a. Superboy. Who, it's funny, when they had Cadmus on in season 2 of Supergirl,
of Supergirl?
I have thought that Con-El might be showing up on Supergirl. But if they're going to introduce him here, all the better. I mean, he is a core member of the Teen Titans in the comics. Going back to the Young Justice days. So yeah, it's exciting.
Well, I only know him from Young Justice, and I loved him. I feel a way about this because on Young Justice, he's a very handsome animated teenager. Angry, handsome, animated teenager. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I was just like, ooh, Superboy. Okay. Yeah. He's my favorite Young Justice character. So that's cool. I'm really excited about that. I hope that this is a thing that maybe would be a regular for season 2. We have no knowledge about that. I'm just saying, me personally, I think that would be really cool. So
yeah,
Superboy.
Yeah.
All right, keeping going on the DC streaming news streak is Doom Patrol, which is going to kind of pick up after Titans somehow. It's going to be linked sort of in the Netflix Marvel series way, from what I understand. Doom Patrol is going to start filming this summer in Atlanta. If you look around the intertubes, you will find kind of lists of dates and times and where they're going to be filming. So it's going to be Atlanta set. And a leaked part of the casting script features some language, some blue language, words that start with F. My heavens, what will they do next? It's got a much grittier, more adult tone to it. Definitely different from the DC shows we're used to seeing, on the CW, on Fox. So, That's saying fuck. And it features Cyborg, which is interesting also because if you recall, Arrow was not allowed to use Deathstroke this season after the Deathstroke episodes because they're having the Deathstroke standalone movie starring Joe Manganiello. And so if they're having Cyborg in the TV show, does that mean that the Cyborg standalone movie isn't going to happen?
No. It means they have no idea what they're doing. It means that, yeah.
What? DC?
They don't know what they want. Cyborg's here. That's cool. All right. That, he actually was he started as a member of the Teen Titans in the 80s. So to have him come in, all right, that's cool. To see Cyborg, live action, that's great. To see them do a different take on it. Okay. Doom Patrol, I mean, this show is weird. So if you're going back to if you're going to have cursing, I guess like this show, it makes sense. But yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it with any of your shows, I guess this is the one because it's so weird to begin with. Might as well just throw that on top.
Well, to me, knowing nothing about Titans, I always think it's kind of inauthentic to have a show with what looks like maybe some angry, disaffected teenagers where they're just like, yeah, the hell with you. No, I don't think angry, disaffected teenagers talk like that. So, I like language that is authentic and doesn't feel forced. And so if the streaming service wants to do that, I think that's cool as long as, there are some shows that are just like, look what I can get away with, jazz hands. Yeah. And I don't want that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And also those were auditions. Those were audition tapes that we were not meant to see. They were leaked. So, I would take that with a big grain of salt. Maybe they just wanted to test those actors to their limits and see what they could handle.
Voice of reason.
So that's about where we got to. in our first pass at this. So we're going to hand it off now to our past selves.
It's like a time travel show. You're welcome, guys. We're taking you on a time journey, like the Time Bureau.
Yeah, who didn't know whether or not they would be re-recording this the next morning.
They were so young. They were so innocent. They thought they were done for the week. They didn't know.
So hope you enjoy that with the good audio. I think we should just pass it off. And
okay. Hey, Past Ed. Hey, Past Sarah. It's your turn.
Hello, everyone. Just noticed there might have been audio issues. I might have been recording on the wrong microphone. Hope that wasn't the case, but I guess we'll see. I'm looking at the waveforms, and yeah, it probably was. So I apologize for the poor audio. So Sarah, we were on Titans news, right?
Yeah, I was just talking about swears.
Okay.
So to me, it kind of sounds like if the audition script is indicative of, the shooting script, the production script, it seems like they're maybe going for the Marvel Netflix vibe, where you have the more adult content because you don't have the same network restrictions. And I'm curious what that looks like on DC. Really curious what that looks like.
Yeah, I think Doom Patrol seems the right place to test that out, and I would definitely expect that from Swamp Thing. It's interesting that now I'm really curious to what Titans is going to be. Like, this just seems like this could be going a million different directions. But
do you think it's going to be a good thing? I mean, do you think letting the characters actually swear the way people swear is going to help?
I don't know. I also think we're going off an audition tape that was leaked, that was not meant to be seen by press. So it could mean anything. I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, but if they did throw it in, I mean, that's a weird show anyway. So if those characters are so strange and it's so unique, you might as well just throw that on top if it kicks and giggles just to see what happens.
You heard it here first. We're part of the problem. We're spreading what could be. The other interesting thing about that, though, is that the audition footage includes Cyborg. So bear with me. Arrow is not able to use Deathstroke anymore because the Deathstroke standalone movie is coming out with Joe Manganiello. Joe
Manganiello.
Thank you. Joe, beautiful. So Arrow can't use Deathstroke. So the fact that Cyborg is included in this footage, does that indicate that we're not going to get a Cyborg standalone movie? And if so, are you bummed?
No, it means that DC... No, it means that DC needs to get its act together. They have no idea what they're doing. I never really believed that we were going to get a solo Cyborg movie to begin with.
I'm honestly not sure we're going to get a Deathstroke movie. Like, I know we are, but like, are we? We are.
Are we?
But are we?
We're getting 2 Joker movies. Sorry. Stop.
So, okay, here's my thing with Joker. Like, he had damage tattooed on his forehead. It was so subtle. It was hard for me to pick up. So I'm glad we're going to have a solo movie to explore that. Because I'm not sure. Is he damaged? Is he? I'm sorry. Continue.
This is just getting me angry. It means nothing. It just further goes to prove that DC's film division does not know what it wants. So there.
Well, it wants a hit, and I feel like it's going to just throw everything at the wall until it gets a hit. And it's so far not. I mean, it is, but man.
Yeah, no. This is what happens when you have something that needs to be plot focused and planned out, and you have a studio that's really likes being director focused and letting all of its directors do whatever they want. In which case, you get a lot of times you get good movies, but if you're trying to build a you're not going to have any cohesion between these movies, which is going to cause more studio interference after the fact and noted to death. When if you planned it right beforehand, you would have,
Well, with apologies to Agent Palmer, I'm about to mention the M word. Marvel has movies that definitely bear the imprint of their directors, I feel like. And yet they, Thor Ragnarok is a completely different vibe than any other superhero movie. And yet it fits in with the whole canon. So I just wish DC was better.
Because it still feels like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's because they... this is just another conversation, and I want to get to those Lucifer tweets. To those.
Okay,
Lucifer
fine.
emails.
All right. Watchmen. Moving on to news for Watchmen. So, as with so much of the news this week, we have set photos that are leaked from Watchmen. This shows a basically downtown Tulsa that has different storefronts. It has a gastropub named Pale Horse, which could be nothing or could 100% mean death, right? Because the horse he rode is a pale horse. You have taxi cabs that are not yellow cabs, but are red, white, and blue cabs, which I thought was kind of funny. And then my favorite thing, one of the bus stops has a big poster with an ad for a TV show within the Watchmen TV show called American Hero Story Minutemen, which clearly is a takeoff on American Horror Story. I love it. And I desperately need David Lindelof to devote one episode of Watchmen to this show within a show. I want to see what American Hero Story Ryan Murphy style looks like. Oh, please, David Lindelof, give us this. Give us 1 hour.
Should he have Ryan Murphy come in to guest produce?
Yes, Ryan Murphy should direct it. He needs to cast his Ryan Murphy stable of actors. I want Sarah Paulson. I want Blaine from Glee. I want Matt Bomer. I want them all. I want them all. I want Lady Gaga. Give me Gaga.
Okay.
That's what I want. Anyway, I super, super love those kind of in-joke, like you have to read the restaurant names and the store names and the signage and things. That's very cool to me. Watchmen is not The Good Place. You can't go crazy with the puns or anything like that. The Good Place is the king of that, but very, very fun store watching in the photos that we saw. We also have a set photo of Don Johnson in his police uniform. Looks like he's filming a night crime scene. It tells us nothing about the show, but Don Johnson is in a police uniform filming a night crime scene. So there you go.
And it's a fancy uniform. He's like double-breasted with the big gold buttons.
It feels uncomfortable and hard to move in.
Yeah. It's aesthetic. It's Watchmen. It looks really cool on paper.
It's Watchmen.
So. All right.
All right. So on to Lucifer, our last show we're going to talk about. So it's still canceled. Tom Ellis has been doing tons of interviews. He talked to Radio Times. He did say that the show's cancellation, it felt personal to a lot of fans, but it actually happened after the viewership dropped below 3 million. I think it's pretty clear from the reaction of the cast, but Tom Ellis said he just was completely blindsided by the cancellation. He's not ready for it. He didn't think the show was done yet. He did say that the tsunami of love that he has witnessed from fans has really lifted him up. And in that, to that regard, the Save Lucifer, hashtag Save Lucifer campaign, still going strong. I mean, still rolling, still enthusiastic. People are still out there trying to lobby for the show. So, the fans aren't giving up, and I don't think they should necessarily, because the talks seem to be ongoing.
Yeah, no, and we were still getting emails over the weekend from everyone who contacted us last week. I do want to say I hope that there wasn't some confusion, lost in translation. Some people were asking us to pick up Lucifer and put it on our channel. I wish.
Well, I have $20. I will give Lucifer $20. I wish we could help more than we are, but all we can do is say, keep tweeting, keep being loud.
Yeah, I do want to read part of an email sent to us by by a woman named Alexia from France. She just lists her reasons about, why she loves the show, and I think the most important one is the last one. The main reason for loving the show is that it has saved me from a very dark path. She says, I'm disabled since birth. I've been suffering from chronic pain for 7 years now, and doctors don't have a clue how to help me. So, very dark place. I suffered from guilt because everyone I love suffered with me. I always thought it was my fault, that I should not have existed, that they would be better without me. 10 years of therapy did nothing. However, 1 month into Lucifer, and I'm on the path to understand that I'm not responsible for the decisions of the other. They choose to suffer with me because they love me. Lucifer is a show about acceptance, accepting who you are with your light and your darkness, and accepting others as well, and away from destruction, and learn slowly every day how to love myself and not to hurt others because of my condition. I just wanted you to know that for most Lucifans, Lucifer is more than a TV show, and it's an experience to understand life and self-love. Without Lucifer, I wouldn't be alive right now, so my main goal for this letter is to say thanks a zillion to the cast and crew, how much I love them for it. I hope this letter reaches someone and inspire them to watch the show and join the fight. Thank you.
Oh, that's really lovely.
Yes. I thought that was a great sentiment, and I just hope that the measures that fans are taking now can at least give it some fighting chance.
And that the email also reminds me, I get frustrated when people say, "Oh, it's just TV. It doesn't matter. Representation doesn't matter. Storylines don't matter. It's just TV. What's the importance? Why does it matter? It's just TV." It's not just TV. For a lot of people, it's a window to another world. It's a lifeline. It's a vision of how life could be. It's a suggestion for what to do, what not to do. And that's such a lovely illustration of for some of us, Lucifer is a fun crime show. For some of us, Lucifer is a morality tale. For some of us, Lucifer is, a lifeline. So hashtag save Lucifer.
Yeah. Hashtag save Lucifer. Hashtag save Lucifer. Get the word out. All right.
Oh, and I will say, Rachel Harris tweeted out just today, wasn't it, Ed? Information looking at binging numbers. So not like Nielsen, who watched TV live, but how many people actually binged, watched, streamed, whatever, different shows. Lucifer was the 4th most binged show last week. People logged 56,000 hours watching Lucifer last week.
Wow.
Yeah, it comes in behind The Big Bang Theory at 60,000 hours because we cannot have nice things.
But, when you have stuff like, that is a big thing when streaming services do pick up network shows. It's usually because it was streaming on that service, and they saw that there was a huge audience. And, if a show ends on a cliffhanger and fans know that, they're less likely to start binging it. This is what saved the Mindy Project, why it got picked up by Hulu. It's why Netflix picked up Brockmire, and gave The Killers a last season. So that's definitely a good sign, I would say.
Yeah, if I was a streaming service to say, oh, hey, ended on a cliffhanger, we're going to give you the last season, it's going to resolve things, tune in. We have all the seasons available. Last season's going to tie things up. Or, more seasons than just one season. It seems like an opportunity to say, yeah, you didn't like the way it ended. We will take care of it. We got you. So.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay, Ed, is it time?
It's the big moment. Ready?
Yeah, I am so ready.
It's time for our retro pick. This is Batman, the animated series. Episode aired September 6th, 1992 on Leather Wings. Bruce Wayne enlisted the help of a few zoologists to help him learn more about a human-sized bat creature who was attacking pharmaceutical companies in Gotham. Harvey Bullock convinced Mayor Hamilton Hill to authorize a task force to take down Batman, despite objections from Commissioner Gordon. Last-minute reveal, Batman delivered Kirk Langstrom, now cured of the Man-Bat virus, to his wife Francine at the zoo.
Ed, you made me watch a show about a Man-Bat. and I haven't slept well since then. That was scary.
Now remember, this came out and I became obsessed with this show, and I remember this is probably like one of the first episodes I saw the week I started preschool. So, imagine like the year of consciousness I have being obsessed with Superman and knowing the George Reeves Superman and, Christopher Reeve and the Adam West Batman TV show and the Filmation, the Superpowers cartoon, and Michael Keaton and the Michael Keaton Batman '89, and then seeing this.
Yeah, that's this feels a little bit more of a piece with the Michael Keaton Batman, with the Tim Burton Batman, for sure. Oh,
certainly.
But yeah. So I was a freshman in high school. I was running off to rehearsal for Our Town by Thornton Wilder when this premiered, for the record. So Ed is the one. You've seen this show multiple times?
Yes.
Or just, okay, yeah. So this is my first time through. I have seen nothing. My younger siblings both watched Batman the Animated Series when it was on because they were younger than me and caught it and love it. So I am very excited to dive in. My first thought was how much it reminded me of the Tim Burton Batman. That opening sequence, it felt like they sort of distilled the essence of Burton Bat and said, hey, remember this movie you liked? Here, we've drawn it. You had the music, you had the Batmobile looked the same. The whole vibe was very similar. And I was grateful. Can you imagine the animated version of the Christian Bale Batman?
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
yeah, not good. This was the right Batman to animate because the Adam West Batman is animated. That's basically a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
So the Burton, to me, feels like the only one you could animate successfully because the other two are such extremes.
Yeah, and I think they did a real good job blending that aesthetic with the comics, because there's a huge comic book influence here, just in the costumes and everything. And the real the striking look that they have is the way this is done. They have really, really detailed backgrounds, and the way all of the matte shots for the backgrounds are actually brightly colored paints used on black paper, so that gives it that really dark look, and the really bright cartoony, more blockhead figures make it really pop off the screen. You notice it's like the Bruce Timm style with the square jaws and everything else. Mm-hmm. It really, the character designs, it's really unique. And I just you could tell that this is still a standard def version. Like this series needs an HD restoration. And I remember seeing, because they used clips of it when I went to see Batman Killing Joke with Bill last year. They had a little documentary beforehand, and the quality on it, just the picture quality on it, has suffered a little bit, but just the artwork on that is so beautiful. I wish, but the episode here, the story, you get Man-Bat right out of the gate, showing like, we're not screwing around here. This is going to be serious.
Here is a Man-Bat. He is wearing pants. Deal with it.
Yeah, and it's a Jekyll and Hyde story. Guy takes a serum and then becomes obsessed with trying to make more of that serum. Couple of things I want to highlight here.
Wait. The first thing to highlight is Jim Gordon, the way God and nature intended him, with the stash. Yes,
with the stash. Voiced by Robert Hastings. Yeah, just the voice cast on here. And Warner Brothers Animation, a lot of their voices they got from like really well-established actors from the 70s and 80s who still wanted to work in the 90s. For example, Robert Costanzo is the voice of Harvey Bullock. Some of you might remember him from Die Hard 2. He played Sergeant, the sergeant who gives John McClane the ticket at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. Who else do we have in here? Richard Mall was the voice of Harvey Dent. Lloyd Bachner, the voice of Mayor Hill. Dr. Kirk Langstrom, or the Man-Bat, was Mark Singer. Do you remember Mark Singer?
No.
He was the star of Beastmaster. and also V, the original V.
Oh, very formative in my youth. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the original V in the 80s. He played Mike Donovan. He was the star of that show. Of course, Dr. March is voiced by Renee Auberjonois, who was,
of course,
immortally Constable Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Also, the talking skeleton in The Last Unicorn? Something in The Last Unicorn. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. And Meredith McRae voiced Francine. You will know her as Billy Joe Bradley from Petticoat Junction.
Which is indistinguishable from the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
And Green Acres.
Yes.
We're calling it back, guys. We're calling it back. Well, and what I was most excited about for this, for a lot of people I know, their Batman is Kevin Conroy. That's just, that he is their Batman. And so I am really excited to be starting off on this journey, if that's not too cheesy, of getting to know sort of the Kevin Conroy Batman, who so far I like a lot.
Yeah. Like the fact that he's actually a detective.
Yeah.
he will gather evidence and research it. I love how he sends everything off to the zoologists, and then he gets back the answer, the generic answer. He just goes to the back computer and goes, "Oh no, they're wrong."
I did think Alfred, to me, is the one who feels the most out of step, because we've seen so many reinterpreted Alfreds that the sort of prim and proper mustachioed butler, that's the one that felt the most jarring to me. That felt the most old-fashioned, was the stuffy Alfred.
Yes, and it's because the voice actor for Alfred in this episode is Clive Revill, who's not the voice actor for most. He only voiced Alfred in a couple of episodes.
Ooh, tough luck, Clive.
A different actor. But another note, his other claim to fame, Clive Revill played the Emperor in the 3 seconds the Emperor appeared in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh! Right before he gets tossed down a shaft?
No, like when Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Empire, not Empire.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Darth Vader gets like a hologram message from the Emperor, just basically like, make sure that they don't make it out alive or something like that. And like he's there for 5 seconds.
That's how Darth Vader sounded, by the way.
Yeah. And then a different actor played him in Return of the Jedi, and of course we all know that Ian McDiarmid, because of his profound work in the prequels, washed over all of those performances in the special edition. In the DVD releases. So yeah, right. Clive Revill.
Kevin Conroy. So I saw Kevin Conroy at a comic book convention in Chicago years ago, and the crowd went wild when he came on stage, and he did a very, very funny Christian Bale impression that was dead on and impressive and funny. So anyway, I'm excited for that. I super love the Art Deco look. The SWAT truck, when it rolls up to unleash all the police officers, look like a toaster, like a beautiful Art Deco toaster. The look of it. And what I think is kind of cool is, I've been watching Gotham, obviously the most recently of all the Batman properties, that sort of timeless, what era are we in vibe. You see it in this cartoon, you see it in Gotham. Yeah. I really like the way that has stayed consistent for the Batman stories.
Yeah. I mean, Gotham City, and and this is basically what if 40s architecture and fashion, were still popular in the 1990s, where he's using modern technology, but with that aesthetic. Oh, I wish that was everywhere. Yeah, a lot to like here. What did you think of Harvey Bullock, being the angry, cantankerous, and his grudge against Batman?
I was so excited just to see the character, because that's not one that's been sort of prominent in the movies that I'm familiar with. Mm-hmm. So it was a different take than I was used to from Gotham. It was not as nuanced. It was a 22-minute cartoon. So of course it wasn't as nuanced. But yeah, I liked the opposition. I liked the friction between him and Jim. And it was kind of fun for me from my vantage point here to think, I'm watching Gotham. Harvey and Jim are partners. This is later, this animated series. Harvey and Jim have diverged. And, is that where the people I know from the live action show are going to go? It's just kind of fun to watch it with the hindsight that comes from being in 2018.
Yeah. And I do love, the way Gordon was just no nonsense and like, what are you doing? Fine.
Yeah.
You want to get in this helicopter? It's got to be with you. So great start. This really feels like a pilot episode, the way they sneak in the mayor and Harvey Dent in that one scene.
By the way, but shout out to my husband for totally mansplaining that's Harvey Dent. Yeah, dude, I know, he's flipping a coin. He's an attorney. I get it. It's Harvey Dent. He's going to be Two-Face. I see it.
Yeah.
So I had to adjust my expectations because I went into it today, in today's climate, expecting a cartoon for today. And once I realized, oh no, wait, this is not BoJack Horseman. This is not the kind of animation that has stories for adults in quite the same way. This was 1992. This was cutting edge. And so once I adjusted my expectations to, oh, okay, all right, here's what we're doing. I really dug its whole vibe. I liked the little streaks of oddness. I liked the night watchman practicing his big radio announcer voice and his cassette tape, and just little oddities like that I really enjoyed. So it was clever, it was lively, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There was a man bat. Oh my god.
There was a man bat, and it's really funny the restrictions that they had on this show because it's after school TV. And, like the big breakthrough with this, evidently in all of the Super Friends shows, Batman was not allowed to punch people.
What did he give him a stern talking to?
Yeah.
Now, sir, actually, that sounds like a thing that DC heroes would do.
Yeah. So, but, and it's the kind of thing where, like, you can't kill anybody. So people will be just, disfigured or put into comas or, horribly injured, but they won't die. And Batman, you'll often see him fighting robots in the future, and that's usually code for, well, we can't show him like killing people. So, or having these heavy fights, but the action is intense and it is well done. And, that whole thing of them flying around the Zeppelin, also the fact that there's a Zeppelin and the police fly it. Just so much. This is bringing back so much memories, and it was so nice to dig into it. And I'm glad that you liked it.
Also, if I may, the police are not wrong. Batman, my canon for Batman is The Dark Knight Returns, the comic, the graphic novel, and he totally does snap. Like, I mean, that's the police are not wrong. He's gonna snap. He's gonna lose it. It's not good. This is not healthy.
Yeah, we got like at least 20 years before that happens.
Also, I'm pretty sure I own Dr. Langstrom's glasses. So 1992 Dr. Langstrom, I got you, sis. I got those glasses. So.
All right. Cool. I hate to rush, but we are running long.
Oh god. We can do this in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes, no problem.
Yeah, I did not realize there was that much news. Cool. Did you have anything else that you wanted to lay out?
No. What's our next episode going to be?
Oh yes, of course. So the next episode, we started from the beginning, but now we're gonna jump.
A very good place to start.
Yes. So now we're gonna jump up. This was actually the next in the release order, but on Amazon, it's in Volume 1, Episode number 14. It's titled Heart of Ice.
Is it about Mr. Freeze? Don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, Heart of Ice.
All right, cool.
A lot of people just got very excited to hear me say that. just put it out there. And I don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to say anything more. All
right.
We're going to watch Heart of Ice next week. Heart of Ice. Oh.
I might stop recording and go watch that right now, honestly.
Well, before we do that, we've got to announce our winners for the week. So yeah, we watched a Supergirl episode that neither was very hot on, but we each have to pull out a winner. So Sarah, who's your winner for the week?
My winner? Miss Tessmacher?
Oh my god!
Because
my winner is Miss Tessmacher.
Is it yours too? Have we ever had the same winner before?
Not exactly. We've like bumped or had like, you had one and I had that person and somebody else. But yeah, Miss Tessmacher.
So for me, it was because the character actually got to explore some hidden depths. And I mean, still, she only had like 2 minutes of screen time. But, she's got a science background. She's going to work with Lena now. James shouted her name. She got some decent pizza. Like, I feel like Miss Tessmacher had a good week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she's got a new job, and that I'm sure L Corp has much better benefits than Catco.
Well, it's a media company in 2018. Of course they do.
So, yeah, she made out like a bandit this week.
Oh no, I forgot to make fun of Supergirl because they had that big going away party for Kara. You don't do that in a newsroom. That was bananas. Retroactively, let me add that to the Supergirl recap. Newsrooms don't do that. Okay, continue.
Wasn't that? But like, I remember that party was at the DEO. I don't remember.
Well, there were two of them. There was a DEO party, and then there was her going away party at Catco, where they are wishing her good luck, quote, on assignment. That's not how.
No,
she hasn't been at Catco all season, and now they're throwing a party. It doesn't. I assume they just all showed up because there was cake.
Sarah, just let it go.
Just let it go.
Let it go. All right.
Miss Tessmacher, winner of the week, twice over. Congratulations.
So we hope you enjoyed this overstuffed episode of the DCTV Report. Join us next week for another episode of Supergirl and Heart of Ice.
Heart of Ice.
All right. So that's the DCTV Report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sarah Netzley, SARANETZLEY.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher, which is coming back soon. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.